Good morning everyone. Today is going to be an awesome day because I'm now doing a Lord of the Rings tour. It's going to be a full day, so expect a lot of Rings footage and stories and stuff. Yay, already raining. We're now in Victoria, where they started filming. The first day was shot here.
Set up at night with the right lighting and smoke machines going, just to get that extra spooky sort of look. And ring rats popping up out of the darkness. So you have the hobbits leaving the Shire. So Sam and Frodo are running through the cornfield, and they run into Merry and Pippin, who have stolen the vegetables off the farmer Maggot. So they're being chased, and they come to running to the edge of the field, and it cuts to them rolling down this hill just here.
Oh, that's so cool.
And landing pretty much right at your feet down there.
Sweet.
What they'd do is they'd get a bunch of four of them up there and just push them down the hill. And they had a big crash pad set up here for them. You can imagine first day of filming, so everyone was really excited, you know. So everyone was really sort of amped up. Probably too much coffee. And these little guys were up there and they'd just sprint, you know, come tumbling down, big cartwheels. And one little guy who was a bit too eager came flying down and he missed the crash pad and just thumped straight into the pathway. And not too good for him. He got rushed off to hospital and he'd broken his collarbone. So he was sort of in a sling for about 6 weeks. Came back to filming, but the good news was there was a whole lot of stunt hobbits, so they just grabbed another little guy in the queue and sent a new batch of four up there. Basically what you have is the hobbits come racing around here, start picking these mushrooms. So you've got Sam, Frodo, Sam, Merry and Pippin picking these mushrooms. Then you've got Frodo just standing to one side. You can sort of see the branches of the tree in behind him. And he's sensing it's all going a little bit wrong. There's something bad just around the corner. The ring rats are on their way. And that's when Frodo yells out. Very good, very good. And they all get off the road and jump and hide underneath this tree. Now loads of people come down here trying to find this tree, yeah, just so they can get that perfect holiday snap. But unfortunately, it was a prop, so it was built extra large to make these guys look really small, because they're all regular height, like yourselves, but they have to look as though they're 3'6". So they couldn't find a tree sort of just the right shape and size. So they built one and brought it out here and put it in place. And if you look, you can sort of see in the background where they set it up. See this tree here, the U-shaped one, this one just over here, and this one, and this same Frodo tree, that one there. So what they did is they set this up right here. So you had a big sort of tree trunk about here, and then that was all built up, set up here, and then you had the hobbits all hiding down here like this, and this was all dug out for the cameraman. So you had a big platform set up, lights, cameras, they're all sort of doing their thing, and then this is the background. One thing you'll see about the actors, Peter Jackson was very much into getting as much detail as he possibly could from each and every scene. So you see the actors are looking really sweaty, sort of really wide-eyed, breathing really hard. So instead of just acting that out, what he wanted was real sweat. So what he did was he had them doing wind sprints, running up and down this hill until they looked just right.
Or the like Weta Cave Museum, something like that. They are the guys that made the video, the movies. And they have a little exhibition there. There's a Gollum and there's a Lutz. Have a look. And this is the cafe where some of the actors might have spent their days learning their lines, and nothing too fancy. And apparently Peter Jackson lives like right around here, but I don't think I can take a picture of him because, well, I would be running around tourists.
Is because over the road they used that dirty old rock mine as the place where they filmed Helm's Deep and Minister Riff. If you can imagine that hill up there without any trees or bushes or shrubs growing on it, and just this great big cliff face and a castle built up against it. So it ended up looking like this. And this was the most visible place in New Zealand, really. Like, you could drive past here, you know, going to work in the morning and look up and see a great big battle, you know, people charging each other with swords and so on. But a lot of car accidents. They weren't allowed to use arrows up here, because you can imagine like an arrow sort of, you know, coming through the darkness. So each of the scenes where you see them firing arrows, they're doing like a simulation, so they're pulling out like that all the time. And so each of those arrows was all added in digitally afterwards. As they set up this road, and Gandalf riding in, so they had him coming in from this direction. And this is this area here. It looks a little bit different. What they did was, this great big stone archway and wall is actually a model. It's only about sort of that big. So that's all been lined up and superimposed into the background. One thing is, you'll see the trees look a little bit different. You see that one there is actually that one over there. So for whatever reason, Peter Jackson didn't like it on that side, so had it shifted over. So basically, they had this fake tree set up right about here. Great big steel hinge on it, and they could get it, tip it over, pull it back up, just tip it over, pull it back up.
At freaking Rivendell.
And the way you can work out how it's all lined up, where it's all situated, are the landmarks, which are the trees. So you see that circle there is that great big black beech tree. So these two dots here and here are this tree and this tree. So where we're standing right at the moment is right in the middle of Frodo's bedroom. The Council of Elrond, where they argued over who was going to carry the ring. So some of that was filmed right here, but also they did some in the studio, because you can imagine different actors had to appear different heights. So they'd have extra large sort of tables and chairs, making some hobbits look as though they were very small. Other actors sort of standing next to regular size tables and chairs.
This is the cinema where the premiere of The Return of the King was done. So we're done. It's really late now. Well, not really late, but we've been gone for like 8 or 9 hours total, and it was amazing. Our guide, Greg or Craig, I'm sorry, I forgot. If you're watching this, I'm really sorry. He told us a lot of like backstories and little bits about the crew and the filming in general. I've watched like the commentary of all 3 films, and a lot of things he explained to us were mentioned, but not in such detail. It was well worth its money. I can only recommend it. They are Wellington Rover. I put a link wherever this is nowadays. And if you ever come to Wellington and you're a Rings fan, go with them.